good news, kind of.
Everyone?
Basically, Ghislaine Maxwell, the accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein's crime spree that was kept hidden. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It was just, international rape trafficking of children. I mean...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, his direct and willing accomplice has been in jail for 20 years, which is good news. But, and it comes with a big but, a nice caveat. This isn't over. As Bodade wrote on Lotus.com very recently, an article called We Shan't Forget. And I'm just going to quote very quickly from it because he's got a great point. And this is one of those points that's just never going to go away. They want us to just forget, or at the very least stop talking about it. They'd prefer if we didn't notice that Ghislaine's trial judge, Alison Nathan, kept many of the details secret, lest the public be subjected to needless name-dropping. Oh, okay, Alison. If you say so, Alison, that is the kind of the whole crux of this waking nightmare, but okay if you say so. Good point.
Yeah.
Just, I hate it.
Like, the big story here is not just, we found a nonce. Like, there are plenty of people going to jail for noncery.
He was a nonce pimp, and she was a nonce pimp. So who were they being pimped out to?
The richest and most powerful people in America and the world, it seems.
It seems that way. And so none of that's going to get found out because, of course, as he points out, Alison, the judge, is like, well, we're not going to do some needless name-dropping. He's like, is it needless, though?
Because, such as who was raped by who? That's not relevant to a rape case.
Because this, and if we can scroll down on this, in fact, Bo goes and points out, well, hang on a second, this implicates literally everyone who spent any time on Epstein's Island. Like, literally, like famous names. Alan Dershowitz, Larry Summers, Mark Zuckerberg, Mort Zuckerman, Reid Hoffman, Harvey Weinstein, Lawrence Krauss, Woody Allen, Sergey Brin, Steven Pinker, Leon Black, Chelsea Handler. We're not saying that these people have raped children, but we also can't say that they haven't because we don't know who was involved and who actually did the crimes. So it's just like, right, so now you're all just kind of implicated in Epstein's horrific secrets because no one can say that you're not involved because none of these names have come to light. But anyway, let's talk about Maxwell being sentenced because at least there's good news on that front. If you can go to the next one, Maxwell got 20 years for sexually abusing underage girls. Epstein, who killed himself in 2019 while awaiting trial, we're told by the LA Times, was exploiting girls as young as 14. She was in a blue prism uniform and a white mask to conform to coronavirus rules. So at least she was being punished. Looked to one side as the sentence was announced, but otherwise did not react. She was wearing leg shackles for some reason. She's not like a physically dangerous criminal. She's a sex offender. Like, it just seems stupid. But anyway, I don't care.
Who knows?
Yeah, I know. If I'm putting leg shackles, I don't care. But like, just seems like performative. But anyway, Sarah Ransom, one of her accusers, says, "It's been an incredibly long road to justice for myself and many other survivors. This is for the girls that didn't have their say, the ones that weren't here." The jury convicted Maxwell in December of sex trafficking, transporting a minor to participate in illegal sexual acts, and 2 conspiracy charges. Those conspiracy theorists who keep talking about Epstein and Maxwell, one of whom has been confirmed to have been engaging in a conspiracy and charged twice on that count.
I mean, do we have an Alex Jones's right tip jar somewhere?
No, because we can't afford one. Judge Alison Nathan imposed the prison term and a $750,000 fine and said that Maxwell never expressed remorse for her crimes. Well, the only remorse is getting caught, surely. The judge said she wanted the sentence to send an unmistakable message that nobody was above the law. Apart from the other people who appear to be above the law. Apart from the other people who won't be needlessly name-dropped in this trial for some reason. I mean, people on the internet are pointing out, well, we got to see every gory detail of the Johnny Depp trial and no details from this trial. It's like, yes, because Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were a sideshow. Nothing concretely important about the ruling class was being decided there. That was about general social morals. This is about the implication of the ruling class of America and the West broadly in a child sex trafficking ring. And so, I mean, I'm surprised that Ghislaine Maxwell hasn't committed suicide yet. Anyway.
Yet. Although I am wondering, do you know why 20 years? Because, I mean, America's a place where you hear occasionally people get 500 years, like a mass murder or something. You know they're just going to die in there, and that's the point. But then, why on earth someone with such convictions would only get 20?
Well, the prosecution were arguing for a longer sentence. I don't know why she only got 20 years, but I mean, she's 60 years old, so 20 years is a long time for a 60-year-old. She won't serve it all, probably. Or she'll commit suicide because of the terrible crime she's committed. Anyway, she, of course, didn't take responsibility for anything that happened. Addressing the court, Maxwell stood at the lectern and said that she empathised with the survivors and hoped her punishment would bring them peace. Imagine that. Your rapist is like, yeah, I empathise with the survivors. I, a fellow woman.
I was also a victim of Epstein?
That's literally what she's saying. She says that Epstein was a manipulative, cunning and controlling man who lived a profoundly compartmentalised life. I, your rapist, am the victim of Epstein too.
Well, I, your pimp.
Yes. Well, no, she raped some of them too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She was involved in the sexual activities with underage girls.
Right.
The judge said that Maxwell was being punished for her heinous and predatory crimes, not Epstein's, which is a nice retort. And she criticised Maxwell's pattern of deflection and blame. Women not taking responsibility. The four survivors, the sentencing described the sexual abuse, including Annie Farmer, who's overcome with emotion. She said her and her sister tried to go public with their stories, but were shut down through threats and the influence of the authorities. Again, who is being protected here is the question that just is the elephant in the room. But of course, the defense attorney is saying that he's going to appeal, or she's going to appeal her case, because Epstein left Maxwell holding the whole bag. It's like, yeah, but a lot of the people are like, yeah, she's not saying anything, and if she says something, well, you know, she might be feeling a bit suicidal that day. But it is interesting how she said that she doesn't feel remorse for the victims. I just find that, like, she basically says it, you know, a lack of remorse for her own conduct, because she was just basically like, I hope my conviction brings you closure. It's like, aren't you sorry that you raped these children?
But also, just if you're going to say anything before you go to your prison cell, surely you just want to start screeching out names. I mean, she must know. Well, I know she's in prison, but she must know the public conversation.
Well, the thing is, if she starts screaming out names, then she'll be killed.
But in the courtroom?
No, not in the courtroom, but shortly afterwards.
But that's the thing, you know, at least you would do some good on your way out.
She's hoping to get off. Like, they're going to appeal, and she'll probably get like 5 years or something.
Why?
Because that's how prison time works. You get your sentence, and then good behaviour, you get various amounts of time off.
No, I thought she was going to appeal and then get like lower sentencing because, you know, I'm a woman or something like that.
I mean, she's definitely going to appeal. Like the lawyer has said that she's going to appeal, and so who knows? And so she may end up a free woman in a couple of years. I mean, maybe the appeal will overturn the conviction. Who knows? You know, we don't know. But I mean, at least people are pointing out, well, hang on, she has taken the hit for the whole trafficking ring, which is good. We can get to the next one. This, you know, sorry, no, I think it's the next one after this. Sorry. Yeah. So at least, you know, like Yahoo News is like, well, hang on a second. There's an entire ring of people that were involved in this, and Epstein now being dead, presumably, means that she's the only one, as the lawyer said. Well, she's left holding the bag. It's like, oh no, how tragic for her. But we do want to know who the customers were. That would be, I think, useful information for the public to know which of the people in charge of their lives is a child rapist. I don't think that's unfair.
They're all free. They're still able to walk up to, you know, primary schools.
They've all committed crimes.
But I guess just not even of interest to the FBI. Don't want to ask the questions, presumably.
No. For the first time ever, though, I find myself in agreement with Hollywood celebrities, which is remarkable. Now do the men, Monica Lewinsky commented. Yeah?
What?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you mean?
Well, as in, like, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman, has been sentenced for the crime of sex trafficking. Now
this is a feminist moment. Women are being oppressed because only they are being done for it. It's
no. Let's let this ride, because we might actually get to find out who the other people involved with this were.
Yeah, sure, but what a weird response. Like, you wouldn't say, now do the rest of the pedos. She's like, now do the men.
Yes.
As if there's some kind of, like, patriarchal oppression. Like, the patriarchy got rid of Epstein and therefore, you know, just wanted to punish Maxwell because she's a woman or something.
Yeah, well, that's...
I mean, Hollywood is still retarded.
That's Monica Lewinsky's view. Yeah. But Piers Morgan, do you want to hear Piers Morgan's amazing take? His take's actually fine in this case. One of those rare occasions where even Piers Morgan can't be wrong about something. Who are Ghislaine Maxwell's rich and sometimes powerful and sometimes famous clients? We should be told. It wasn't just her and Epstein engaged in this criminal sexual conduct. We need names. Again, just the rare moment that Piers Morgan has a lucid statement and makes sense. And again, another celebrity, make their names public and arrest them all. Yeah, I'm totally in favour.
And you would have thought some journo would have by now. Like some actual journalist, not, a smear merchant. But
well, speaking of spear merchants, we get the spear merchants going on about, those conspiracy theorists are saying things. And it's like, well...
What, that they were right?
Yeah, I mean, she was literally convicted on 2 counts of conspiracy.
Oh, no. We've been exposed as trying to cover this up implicitly with the establishment.
As they say, alt-right political commentator Mike Cernovich. Mike Cernovich isn't alt-right? Like, he's in an interracial marriage?
He's a bad alt-right.
Yeah,
say that.
Yeah, but
It's like Derek Chauvin. He's also a white nationalist, but,
yeah.
race mixing.
No,
so.
Mike Cernovich was never part of the alt-right. But this Ghislaine Maxwell was put on suicide watch a few days before the sentencing. And he says, Ghislaine Maxwell was put on suicide watch. They're going to kill her like they did Epstein right in front of our faces. Not quite, actually. It was one of those rare predictions that wasn't true there, because that's, something everyone expected.
Actually lasted a whole 5 days more.
Yeah, exactly. And, Avi Yemeni tweeted, they didn't call him alt-right. He's Jewish, so I guess he's got a good reason to get out of it. But Avi Yemeni was like, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and nor will Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, we'll see if that prediction comes true. But, of course, the feds do claim that Epstein killed himself. And it's amazing that this was something, I mean, you remember back in time. In this article, they say, we've got all the video footage and stuff like that. And then it started coming out that actually the cameras were off. And there was no one checking the logbook and stuff like this. And
the guards were asleep.
The guards were asleep. And all of this. So it's just like, you actually don't know, is what it came out with. But at the time in 2019, right, and I think this is very interesting, a survey conducted at the time found that 30% of respondents believed that Epstein's death was a homicide. And so that's interesting. So even back in 2019, 30% of people were like, he was killed. But then it started gaining ground as a meme. Bigger.
Epstein didn't kill himself. Posted everywhere.
Everywhere. You had Paul Gosar, who tweeted it during the impeachment inquiry of Trump.
Just out of the blue.
He actually he posted a string of tweets, and at the beginning of each tweet was EPSTEIN. So Epstein didn't kill himself at the end of these tweets. And they were like, how dare you, Paul, which is surprisingly based. But then it appeared on MSNBC, which is also hilarious. If you can scroll down on this, I should have got the clip, but there is a clip of a young man. If you go down, can you just play this video?
And I want to turn here to Parker as well. The three of you told me you voted for the president in 2016. You're supporters of his. Why do you like him so much, and what policies stand out to you that you support?
Well, I would say mainly just the no-nonsense policies, and especially since Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. That's awesome, yeah. That's totally perfect. Just wait and see it.
Turning back.
Just no, can't talk about that.
Wasn't MSNBC didn't Project Veritas release some footage of them? Like one of their reporters saying, "God damn it, I knew about this back in the day. I was told not to look into it as well."
Yes, was it MSNBC? It might have been Fox actually.
It might be one of them, but
the hot mic of her just saying, I did all of this research for years and I was just told no. It's like, why were you just told no? Who was just telling you no?
Someone higher up in the executives, surely. In which case, the media are controlled in that aspect.
And presumably the person is somehow complicit with Epstein's sex ring.
Or owes him a favour for something. For
whatever reason, we don't know. But coming on, carried on, and it turned out that further polls discovered that now 45%, in fact, this was still in November in 2019, so only a few months later, even more people thought that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. 45% of Americans, quote, baselessly believe that Epstein was murdered, according to a poll in 2019. Imagine almost half of the country's like, yeah, he was murdered. Right?
It's like, okay, well, look, all the report came out that you didn't have the footage. He just happened to disappear, was on trial, and then, suddenly Maxwell's on trial after him as well.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, baselessly, of course.
But
I'm pretty sure this was also after, what was it, the Golden Globes, the Ricky Gervais. Remember, even he did it, just live on the TV. He was just like, by the way, didn't kill himself. Yeah.
But the thing is, the funniest thing about this is actually that 39% weren't like, no, he didn't. They were like, well, I don't know. Maybe.
Where was Clinton between those hours? I don't know.
Only 16% thought he died from suicide. Like, this is, as narratives go and narrative control goes for, the elite establishment propaganda, this has been handled really badly, and nobody's buying it, is basically, nobody, like, literally, hardly, like, 16% of people think that he actually committed suicide. That's tragic for the elite narrative control. So who knows what's going to happen to Ghislaine Maxwell next. But I wouldn't be surprised if she decides that her life isn't worth living anymore. But then equally, I wouldn't be surprised if she only gets a few years slap on the wrist and then gets out.
Anyway. What was it, McAfee? You remember him?
Yeah.
Being like, I'm not going to kill myself.
And
I feel
then
perfectly
he's
fine.
mysteriously found dead.
I'm kind of expecting her to pull that.
Yeah.
Like, just that's what's going to happen if she gets access to some kind of letter or a tablet.
Well, it's interesting that her father was, mysteriously died by falling off his own yacht. Robert Maxwell. Her father died mysteriously again. He just fell off
a big
his own
yacht, surely.
Well, undoubtedly would have been. But he apparently just slipped into the ocean and died, and that was it. Nothing more to worry about here. It's very suspicious. The whole thing is very suspicious, and I don't think you can trust any of these people.
Thanks for watching that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters. If you enjoyed that and want to find more, you can sign up to our website and become a member and access our premium content, like this recent premium video, The Rise and Fall of Oasis, which is a discussion between Josh and Thomas. If you're interested in following Thomas on social media, you can find him on Getter at Thomas W. Dowling. Thank you and goodbye.